I want to talk to you guys today briefly for around 5 to 7 minutes about racism today. So imagine if you were African American, Native American, Asian American, or any other minority group that has been subjected to racism, bigotry, and hate speech in the U.S. Now, I want you all to think about these four names. Just think about it. George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Trayvon Martin, Michael Brown. Just think about it for a second. From the resources that I've researched, such as the souls of Black folks, Blessed Are the Peacemakers, and many other resources I've researched, I want to take the time today and outline and highlight 3 ways in which society as a whole can stand up against racism and discriminatory speech by educating the future generation, learning about people and their different cultures, and being able to stand up against racism, bigotry, and hate speech. Now, in order to defeat racism, there are many ways that we can go about it. And one of the first ways we can do is act. And I'm going to talk about one way in which we can act to stand up against racism, which would be to educate the future generation. And one of the first ways that we can do that is being able to dismantle racism. And when dismantling racism, we should break through that denial, and we need to be able to learn about all cultures, whether it's African Americans, Asians, Native Americans, and we need to be able to learn about their experiences in America. Secondly, we need to be able to talk to our youth, children, and adults, because all around the world, from social media platforms and news outlets, our youth and children have been subjected to prejudiced messages and lots of racism and discriminatory speeches that they should not have to be subjected to. And it's important as a society that we openly talk to them about that. And thirdly, we need to be able to raise an anti-racist generation. And the very best way to do that is teaching our children at a young age about racism and how it's intolerable. Now, I want to go into how we can recognize different people and their cultures. One of the first ways we can do that is being able to learn people's cultures, being able to learn where they come from, what they've experienced. Secondly, we need to be able to talk to people that are different from us. It's important that we look at people's differences and what we have in common with one another, because that makes everybody unique. And we have appreciation for different people's cultures. Thirdly, we need to just simply be a good human being. And for the 2 reasons that I just explained earlier, how we can learn people's cultures and be able to talk to different people, that's going to help us become a better human being. Now, all of us are not born with hate, whether it's because of somebody's color, skin color, their background, religion. We're not born with that. Racism is a behavior that's taught. And now I want to go into how we can step up and how we can show respect for one another, and how we can stand up for racism, bigotry, and hate speech. And one of the first ways to do that is to be able to speak up about it whenever it occurs. And we need to be able to understand that it's intolerable and that nobody should have to be subjected to racism at all. And we need to hold people accountable for that. Secondly, we need to be able to support human rights. So by joining a national or a local human rights group, that means you are working with a group of people that have worked over the years to help eradicate racism and to help ensure people have their rights and needs. And thirdly, we need to support victims, because victims have experienced an event in their lives that has tremendously negatively impacted their mental and social health, and it'll stick with them forever. Now, as I conclude today, I just want you guys to think about the three main points that I went over, and racism as a whole, and how we can step up and fight against racism. And in conclusion, racism leaves a pain for many victims that is immeasurable. And it often comes in the form of insensitive comments, jokes, stereotypes, or questions from whomever, whether it's family, friends, co-workers, doesn't matter. And whenever you hear it, whether it's from a family, friend, co-worker, doesn't matter who you hear from, even if it's a stranger, you need to be able to step up, speak about it, and hold them accountable and tell them, hey, this is not good. Now, if you are willing to help me fight against racism, if you are willing to help me stand up and help educate the future generations, help the future generation be educated on different people's cultures, and be able to stand up against racism as a whole, then my name is LJ Simpson, and I look forward to working with you. Thank you, and have a blessed day.